Hello, everybody.
Doesn't it seem like we've been meeting quite often lately? I just want to show you the compassion that we have for the jobs that you have. And I have to make Dave do this. He doesn't want to give you guys anything. I'm the only one that's getting this done. Are we on or not? Are we good? Yeah.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Hello. So what I'm saying is Dave is really trying to make your life hard on you. I'm trying to make it easy on you.
Bob Condotta.
Speaking of make life easy, what do you got, Bob?
Well, hey, Pete, can you give us an update on Brandon Jackson and sort of what, the aftermath of what happened with him on Saturday and where he is now?
Yeah, he got knocked really, real tough blow to the head, helmet to helmet shot, and he's back in the building with us today. He was at meetings today. We got to check him out, make sure that we understand that he's not, nothing was really injured. He's just recovering from such a big smack, that he got nailed with. So we'll see what that means.
So he's probably out of practice for a little while? Or?
Yes.
Brady Henderson.
Hey, Pete,
and the password
aside
is...
from all the opportunities that Jamal Adams had to blitz in New York, what has made him an effective blitzer over his career?
Now that's all instincts, really. It's instinct and savvy, and then just his general attitude. He's really an aggressive player. So I thought one of the best blitzers I ever coached was Lawyer Malloy, and it was all about his attitude, and it was his just attack mentality, and you see that very much so in Jamal.
And is Rasheem Green okay? Saw him leave the scrimmage.
Yes, he's working today.
Okay, thanks.
Aaron Levine.
Hey, Coach. When Cam and Earl were here, they clearly had their defined roles as strong safety and free safety. Is there any extra flexibility you have given the characteristics with the two guys back there in Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams?
The answer to that question is yes. Yeah.
Does it open it up? Open up things for you guys?
I think back in the day, those two guys that you mentioned, Cam and Earl, were distinctly different athletes. And so there was more reason to be, to keep them in their own roles. These guys are very flexible. They can do everything. So, Quandre's a really good guy up in the box, and he can blitz as well. And so it's a real nice freedom that they give us to mix our stuff.
Thank you.
John Boyle.
Thank you, Dave. Pete, we've seen throughout practice in the mock game a bunch of different guys fielding returns. Do you feel pretty good about the depth of options you have, or maybe some of the rookies adding into the group you already have? Yeah,
we are okay there. Our catching part of it is phenomenal. Our guys can really catch it, and Tyler has been extraordinarily effective and so secure for such a long time that we know we have that. And then, David Moore's a good returner, and we're excited to see what Freddie Swain can do. He had some good activity in college and some returns and all. Johnny Ursua catch the ball really well. DJ's working it. So we have a lot of choices back there. Yeah. The part we don't have is the preseason opportunities to check these guys out. That's a big difference. Not having you have 20 kicks or something in those games, and you'd have a chance to get guys back there. We don't have that luxury.
Corbin Smith.
What are you doing over there?
Hey, Pete, you recently expressed confidence in your depth chart at the defensive tackle position. That was before you signed P.J. Johnson. What have you seen from him so far? What skill set does he bring to that position group?
Still trying to figure that out. He hasn't had enough turns yet, but he's working real hard at it. He's a big kid, and plays inside, strictly a tackle, and we like him on the center more than anything else. But it's not enough time, not enough plays logged yet to know.
Tim Booth.
Oh man, I don't get the distinguished voice introducing me. I'm disappointed.
Jeez. It's really creepy.
Two quick things, Pete. With Brendan, it's no structural damage. It's just the concern about a concussion at this point.
Yeah. Well, yes, there's some concerns that they're going to check out and make sure that we're really clear on, and so it's going to take us a little bit of time. We're going to be very deliberate about taking time. Anytime you get get hit in the head like that. We got to make sure we take all of the time that it takes and all of the considerations. There's a lot of stuff that they're going to check him out on, and just want to make sure he's okay.
Okay. And then Bills coach John McDermott came out this morning and had some comments about the competitive fairness of some teams being able to have fans in their stadiums versus others. Do you think the league should have made some sort of protocol league-wide about whether fans can be in attendance or not, or do you think it's fine being left to the individual teams?
No, we do most everything. Everybody's kind of involved and included in the deal. So I don't know what that is going to be like, and I don't know if they're going to give you a full complement of your fans, or it's partial. That might not be as good as having the sound. I don't know, but generally everything is done really with the consideration to make it equal across the board. This kind of sounds like states' rights kind of instead of the federal concern here. So I don't know if what's going to happen. I think we're still trying to figure it out. I know that we are sound-wise, and so I'd like to hear more. There's not been much discussion about this. We've not been part of that conversation, to my knowledge, and so I would like to enter in. So I really don't know what to tell you, other than we still got a lot of work to do to figure out what we're going to do at our stadium for the noise.
Thank you.
Joe Fan.
Oh, he's back.
Hey, Pete, how would you evaluate David Moore and Lano Hill's camp so far?
Both guys are they look like they've stepped to the next level of their career. There's another year. They're coming back with more confidence. David is playing multiple positions. Lano's playing multiple positions. Both those guys are doing well. It's interesting you bring both those guys up. I think they've both done pretty well so far. So, and they're making a real statement about being involved in competing for their play time. So I'm real pleased with those guys.
And then we'll follow up, different subject though. Do you have any thoughts on Earl Thomas being released by the Ravens over the weekend?
No, it's been a tough time for Earl. That's a hard situation. I feel bad for him. I wish he could have avoided that from happening, whatever it was. I don't know what happened particularly, but that's a bad state to get in when they send you home.
Michael Sean Dugar.
That's so creepy. He can't even ask a question. He's intimidated. Next, Michael Sean, he didn't hear it. You're muted still. There we go.
I can't hear any of you guys.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's terrible what he's doing over there. Dave Pearson.
Same here. I can't hear Pete.
Okay. Well, you're just out of luck today, Art. I don't know what to tell you.
Then
Go ahead,
it's
Mike.
working.
Can you guys hear me?
Now we can. Now we got you.
Okay, you can hear me. What was your biggest takeaway from that mock game, and then what do you need to see differently, or maybe see more of in the one you're going to have on Wednesday?
Yeah. Well, the first takeaway was we did all the pregame stuff and got all that ironed out. We know what we're doing, so it's an experience. We put check that box. The rhythm of changing offense to defense and kicking game and all that stuff that happens in a game, we got all that experience too. That worked out fine. So going to the stadium and getting ready and starting the routines that the guys have to get in so that they're ready to perform on game day is underway. We made progress. We did a really nice job of pass protecting in the game. It allowed us to convert. We hit all our third downs, which was great. We didn't get to see as many guys as we like to see, and unfortunately because of the reps. But so the game kind of mechanics and all that is under our belt now. That was a really good start for all that.
Ben Arthur.
Thanks, Dave. Pete, what did you see out of Jordan Brooks in the mock game, and how has he fared against KJ in the battle at weak side linebackers?
I think he had about 23 plays, or right there, 23, somewhere in there. So he had a chance to play some, and a couple good breaks and good chases, and he lined up some good hits that we didn't allow him to take. But he's showing that he's comfortable with the position. He's comfortable with the parameters of the position. So he's in a good spot. And KJ's done well too, so they're both just battling. Obviously, KJ's a long ways ahead in terms of knowledge, information, recognition, and ability to communicate and help other guys. So it's just kind of a race for Jordan to keep battling and just keep getting better. And but he looks really capable, and so we'll just see what happens. Just wait it out.
And just the second thing, real quick, are there any new injuries out of the mock game besides Brandon's situation? Anything new out of the game?
Anything about Phil Dorsett yet? This is like at those hearings, when they lean over to their attorney. Phil Dorsett has a sore foot, and he won't go today. I don't know much about that, but he's not going today.
Thank you.
Greg Bell.
Look, Art's getting pissed. He can't hear you. He's starting to back up. I can see it.
Pete, what is the balance you're trying to strike on the noise issue in the stadium? Are you trying to keep it low enough for Russ and the offense, but still make it tough on the opponent's offense? Or I remember you in the spring saying, "Well, we're going to crank it up to 11 and hope."
Okay, well, so that was a little testosterone reaction right there. I had no idea what it was going to sound like, and so we're still figuring it out. But everything's in consideration right now, and so we played. We in pregame we had it at different levels. In the game we kept it at one particular level, and there is consideration for both sides. You don't want to hinder your offense on your home court. And so so we have to figure out how that's going to fit best. And so this is really an important experience on Wednesday to go in that regard. To try to figure that out, because we won't get another opportunity like that. So we'll answer it after that.
And is the only guidance you gotten from the league is that you just have to keep it the same throughout? But other than that,
that's all I know right now, Greg. Is that once we declare what it is, you got to keep it. I think you can change it from game to game, but you can't change it once the game starts. The part that just seems different is that once the sound's on the whole time in between plays and in between breaks, and we're going from offense to defense, and the kicking team's going, and the fans are still, Now our fans could do that now. They could be like that, but it's not really a natural feeling, to it.
Big Art.
Thanks, Dave. And Pete, you're sounding terrific now, but never better.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that compliment.
Yeah. Well, that'll be the last.
Okay. I'm not surprised.
In Earl's time around us in Seattle, it seemed like he had no filter. There were things he said and did, and didn't realize the consequences of it. And if you agree with that, how did you navigate?
Well, first off, I don't agree with that at all. I don't know where you got that. Maybe to you he was like that, but he wasn't like that to me or here. He was really quiet. Earl was a very quiet player, very much to himself, and was rarely spoke out. Rarely, and I didn't call on him that much because I knew he was uncomfortable with speaking out. So, that's my first thing. Then what was the other part you want to know? So I don't agree with Art. Okay, so what else is new? Okay, now what?
Well, for example, the Christmas Eve game against Dallas in 2017, when he said to Jason Garrett, "Come get me," and I talked to him after that, and he said it didn't. He said, "What's the big deal? I don't understand why everybody's all Twitter."
That's what he said to me too when I said that to him. Yeah.
And what did you say to him?
Well, I said sometimes you don't realize what the consequences are when you speak, so you have to be really careful. And in this case, Congressman, he didn't realize. He didn't weigh the situation. He thought it was really a harmless gesture, which because there's media, it wasn't harmless, and that it was brought out and questioned. I didn't care. I wouldn't worry about Earl. I knew where he was coming from, and it didn't bother me a bit. I didn't think it was the right thing to do, and I told him that. But so what?
Did you ever have anybody do that before, that kind of thing?
One time back in the day, I'm glad you asked this. This is really self-incriminating totally, but we had played. It was Game 16. We were playing the Jets. Is when I was at New England, and we had already made the playoffs the year before. That's why I'm telling the story, so I can tell you we were a playoff team that year, and so the last game really didn't matter in the outcome. But anyway, we got smoked by the Jets, and and I heard that one of our players, I'm not going to mention his name, I almost did, went into the other locker room and told the coaches that, hey, you guys outcoached this day. And that got in the media. And that was a really lousy thing to happen, So that's happened before, and that was a long time ago. And it happened to be his former coach. Anyway, so that happened. I can say he was kind of kissing up to his old coach because I didn't say his name. So something like that has happened before, yes.
And but there was no consequence to Earl other than your perhaps saying don't.
You'll never know, Art. You'll never know.
But this congressional hearing could go on for days if you don't fess up.
Your time is up, Senator. Sorry.
All right. Thank you, Ben.
Curtis
Not worth
Crabtree.
Curtis, where's Curtis?
Pete, I'm just kind of curious how you viewed Alton Robinson's camp so far, where he kind of come from day one, and what you've seen out of him on the field.
Well, he's surprised all of us in that he's bigger than we thought. He came in about 15 pounds heavier than he played. He was in the 270s, and it's helped him. He's a powerful rusher, and he already has good finesse and good moves and understands how to play on the edge and all. But you can see him break the edge down some because he's stronger than some of the faster, sleeker guys that are weighing in the 250s. He's at 277, I think he was. And so. He's running the 4.6s, and so you put all the package together. He's done well. He's done real well, and he's learned well. We haven't seen him play in a game yet, so we don't know, but he's made a really good impression, and so probably we're more excited than we thought we could be at this time, this early in camp. So that's really a real positive.
Were you somewhat worried at the outset that extra weight may not have been
Yes.
good weight?
Yeah.
Worried about how to play?
Yeah, I was concerned about that because I was surprised. He had worked out here in the area and with and around some of our players, and he worked really hard to get to camp. So, I'm not sure where his weight will settle by the end of camp, but he's a powerful guy, and we don't want to take that away from him and try to make him some light guy. That's not his style. His style is he's got good hips and lower body strength and power, and it shows up.
A.J. McCord.
It's about time. Jeez. Can we get a little representation here? Jeez.
Well, I was having a hard time hearing your answer to Michael Sean Dugar's question, but I had a question more along the lines.
That's Michael's fault. That's not my fault. I didn't do it.
I think it was the audio. I didn't know if you answered the whole thing.
I'm kidding.
My question was, with the lack of preseason games, how have you shifted practice and these mock games to tailor finding out the answers that you need that you would normally have preseason games?
That really is the question of camp. That's really the question. And what are we doing to try to adjust so that we can get ready as possible? And so there's a lot of situational work that we do. We're trying to make sure that the players are having to think through the normal practice session, maybe more so than normal, because you pick up so many things in games that you can teach from. So we have to capture the teachable moments here and create teachable opportunities, here. And so we're focusing on that more so. And also there's a difference in who you're preparing for the games. There's the first guy's got to get ready, so we've got to make sure that all of the first units are really, and the guys that contribute to the first units too, have gotten their reps. So it's a rep counting and how we're doing that, and the quality situations of those reps are really important to us. So we're really monitoring all of that to try to keep track and guarantee that we're set and ready. Again, I go back and we did. This was exactly how you had to do it in college too. You had to capture all of these situational aspects in the practice because you couldn't count on them in the games, and so that's what we're doing.
And do you feel like that's been effective so far? Do you feel like you have?
Yeah. We're doing really well there. I don't know. I'm hoping. I'm not going to know until we handle the situations. We had a couple substitution issues the other day, and so that's an indicator that we need more work going from different packages and stuff and different subs on offense. We just got to get all that ironed out. I was really kind of disappointed that we had a couple mistakes like that on defense. So there's still work to be done. But I'm planning on being really, really revved up and ready. When we get to it, we got to have done this extremely well.
Thank you.
Michelle Ludka.
That's you, Michelle. He didn't say your name very loud.
No, I heard that. I just didn't put my hand up to raise a question, but I'm happy to do so. You mentioned, Coach, in your last answer there about how you're kind of falling back on what you did in college because you guys didn't have really preseason games before you jumped into the season. How much is how kind of your evolution of coaching from in college to the pros helped in this specific situation with this training camp?
Well, I really, from the beginning, in realizing that we might not have the games, I was never shook by that, because it went right back to that thinking. So, it was 9 straight years, I think at SC. So you get pretty accustomed to what that's like. One of the biggest issues for coaches is just to imagine that your players are going to go out there and play a full speed game and never have played one against anybody else. It's just, it's always that same situation, even the first preseason game. But now that the game is going on in the books, it's a big concern because you don't really know till you know. And so, but like I said, I think it's been very, very helpful. I've been very comfortable with it, and the coaches have not been freaked out about it. And so I think hopefully we'll do this really well. We won't know till we find out. Sorry.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Bruce, you're beeping.
We'll now bring Bruce Urban up.
Nice talking to you guys.
Thanks,
See ya.
Coach.
Thanks.
Thanks, Pete.